Marty to holler in case Alex needs to get out. The goal, Marty, is for him to run this entire practice.
Kim, congratulations to Denny Hamlin and his fiancee Jordan Fish on the birth of their son on Wednesday. And because he wanted to welcome his son home, Denny Hamlin has decided to skip the Mexico race here on the streets of Mexico City. And so now he is going to have Ryan Truex in the 11 car this weekend. Hamlin did apply for and was granted a waiver by NASCAR, so he'll keep all his playoff points. So Ryan Truex in the 11 this weekend, and they had to make several changes. Of course, the team was completely prepared for him to be in the car the last 3 weeks, but they did not bring Truex's seat here to Mexico City, so they had to work on the seat a little bit. Also, Hamlin does not normally run at short tracks and road courses a rear view camera. Ryan Truex wanted a rear view camera, so they got that installed this morning as well. So we'll see how Ryan Truex does in the 11 car after winning the races last weekend at Michigan.
Watch Ryan Truex off board, the roof going down into turn one. Here you go now, shift the braking zone heavy into turn one. Should see a ton of crazy 3, 4, 5 wide passing going into that braking zone. Carrying that right front tire a little bit, coming out of turn 3 down this front straight or down this straightaway, headed toward turn 4. I'll be interested if anybody can put together a run to challenge someone into this braking zone. This is a bit of a fast sweeper, so the braking isn't really, it's not a real like hard braking zone. You slow the car down a little bit, but being able to get to the inside and actually make a pass there might be tough. And you see right there, as the cars go through the S's, we're going to talk about this a lot today, guys. There'll be some yellow stripes off course a little bit through those turns. That is the only area on the racetrack where there are track limits. The tire barriers will do their job to try to keep the race car drivers on the track through the rest of the course.
And you know what I think are going to be the best seats in the house right here into the stadium. This left-hander, Dale, you said it on the track map, slowest and the lowest RPM. So they are crawling right there. And I think that lack of pace actually is going to give these fans a great show because it's going to encourage these drivers to lean on each other.
Yeah, and you see them able to use a lot of the racetrack, get wet kind of off the curve a little bit to be able to put themselves in a great position to accelerate out of those final few corners. You've got to get through those last few series of corners really good to put yourself in any position to do some passing right here in this braking zone into turn 1. That's all of the teams. So if you're struggling coming through those final few corners, you got to work on that today.
9 at Chase Elliott, driving around the 11 of Ryan Truex. Elliott, a driver that is always good on the road, but has not been near as good in next-gen cars.
Oh!
Got a couple of cars he was driving in the old version of the stock car, NASCAR's top level, and 7 wins is third of all time when you talk about road course victories in Cup.
Got a couple of cars backwards here in turn 4, and this is kind of what we talked about. I'm not sure exactly what happened there with Suarez, and let's take a look. John Hunter Nemechek, it looked like Suarez and John Hunter Nemechek maybe had an issue, so we're right on board with Suarez. So Suarez got too far into that area right there. That part of the track has actually been shortened up from what we used to run here years ago. So the turnoff into turn 4 is a little bit earlier. I'm not sure he was quite ready for that, anticipating maybe going further into the old portion of the racetrack. So they used to go straight through there and a little bit further to another additional similar bend that you see right here. Now they've shortened this course up since we last ran here, maybe since Daniels ran here. This is exiting onto the front straightaway. I think it'll be a fun little part of the racetrack as they sweep really wide around pit entry. Maybe some drivers will be able to turn really low and get up underneath each other and race side to side down the front straightaway and argue for position.
Four downshifts, so down to first gear. That's kind of what we talk about learning the track. These are all the small details I'm excited to see is just what gear they're running in each corner, how far they're downshifting, the runoff. So now he's heading back to that turn 4 where we saw him have that issue, the right-hander.
Okay, thank you.
You know, his teammate, Ross Chastain, Daniel's teammate, Ross Chastain, said, I will find the track limits and I might spend some time off track in practice because I want to know just how far I can go as I figure out what kind of plan I need to put together for Sunday.
That's those yellow lines right there. You can get all the way up against those yellow lines before NASCAR is going to call an issue for a track limit there, and you see the 47 pushing the limit, going a little bit too far. I think you have to do that. I agree with that theory and that idea of really finding how far you can really go into all the braking zones. That's where you're going to find the most time on any of these road course racetracks is in that braking zone to push the car beyond its limits.
And the good news here is that there are those opportunities to escape. You know, you go to Watkins Glen and some other tracks back in the day, they were gravel filled or grass or rumble strips. But here, there is some runoff at the end of those braking zones, so there's no reason not to push them.
Let's get out of Marty.
Adam, day one at a new track for NASCAR, and of course there's going to be some learning curves here, and right now, one of them are some technical issues going on with the race teams. So Steve, none of the teams have the use of SMT, so is that a bigger issue for you as a crew chief or your driver, Dale Jr.?
So SMT is basically, you know, your car's location around the racetrack and your driver inputs, right? Throttle, brake, your gear positioning, a bunch of information. You know, it's a great question, Marty, because I would think as a driver, if you're pretty good, it's a bigger issue for the team because I want to try to make the car better. If you're way off, Dale, I would think having SMT, would you like to be able to kind of take a peek at what another driver is doing through a different section?
It's amazing for tracks like this, Marty, when we're coming to the road course, and especially a road course for the first time. Somebody's going to go out there and really adapt to this quickly. They're going to find things that maybe it might take you several trips to this racetrack to discover. And so if you can look at what other drivers are doing and know exactly, hey, I'm in the wrong gear in this corner, or I'm trying, or so somebody's found a way to actually, shorten the course a little bit or trim a little bit here and there. That's a great opportunity for these drivers to really accelerate their learning curve over the next couple of days. We saw some drivers having some issues with the braking zones, pushing their cars a little bit too much. The 2-car of Austin Cindric has apparently found some limits as well to his car's ability. So we got a little replay of some challenges that he's ran into early in this race. This is going into that same turn 4. So, all right. So this is already something we're going to identify as a very challenging part of the course. I would not have anticipated turn 4, the braking zone to turn 4 to be a problem. It looks like it's going to be an issue. Guys are having a hard time getting their cars slowed down. Maybe the braking performance or the balance of the brakes needs to be shifted for that particular corner. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh, the contact, yeah. Oh, Gregson slaps the wall with the left rear pretty hard.
Yeah, it seemed like it was Haley. He got the backhand light, and then there was a checkup, and Noah just had to really get on the brakes heavier than he wanted.
Seems like something, he's already blew the left front tire out trying to get back to the pits. Probably locked that up earlier in the lap.